The Wishbone is a not-so-perfect family that is always struggling to stay happily together. A vampire named Dracula turned them into monsters using a witch, but the Wishbone befriended the witch and defeated Dracula. They are back to normal now, but a new enemy is coming after them. Several years have passed since the Wishbone's family experienced being monsters. They're living in peace as Dracula is frozen and trapped inside his castle. But things are going to change. A young girl named Starr enters the castle and lets the sunshine in. The ice melts down and Dracula is alive again. Before he can realize what's happening, Mila catches him in a trap. She immediately calls her parents Marlene and Maddox and informs them about her success. Marlene admires her daughter's skills and gives her the next task. She must catch the witch named Baba Yaga. She is the one who used her magic amulet to turn the Wishbones into monsters, but now she is on the good side. Baba Yaga has decided to start a normal life, and she is getting married to Dracula's ex-servant Renfield. While she is busy with that, the youngest Wishbone, Max, has stolen her amulet to do scientific research on it. Due to his small height and chubby body, Max is often bullied at school, so he keeps looking for a way to get popular and admired. Suddenly, his phone rings and is not for a good purpose. Someone hacked Max's account and uploaded his silly dance video on the internet. Before he can do anything about it, the video spreads like wildfire. Even his elder sister Faye sees the video and rushes to Max's room to scold him. She feels really embarrassed to be his sister. Faye herself is struggling at school to fit in. She has a bunch of insecurities about her appearance and also lacks good grades and studies. She's even thinking about dropping out of school. Their mother, Emma, interrupts the argument to remind the kids they need to attend a wedding. Faye orders Max to get ready in minutes, and she heads downstairs where her father, Frank, is waiting with the car. Several minutes pass by, but Max doesn't show up. Due to the fats he gained, he can't fit himself in his old clothes. Frank's patience runs out, and he orders Max to immediately get downstairs. With no other option left, Max uses the witch's amulet to dress up like a celebrity. They all get in the car and rush towards the church. On the way, Max reveals that Faye is planning to drop school, which makes her parents worried. Faye explains that she is not good in a single subject and also fails in sports and other activities. She believes that she doesn't have a bright future, and it's all because of her parents. They never have time to pay attention to her and support her efforts. Emma says she just wanted Faye to make her own decisions, but it has backfired as Faye ruined her school life already. On reaching the church, Max refuses to get out as some of his classmates are standing outside. Frank assures that he is looking great, so Max gains confidence to get in public. At first, the girls get mesmerized by his style, but then the magic disappears and Max is left with his unbuttoned suit and messy hair. The girls make fun of him again and even take his humiliating pictures. Emma promises to report the bullies and advises Max to get inside the church. Baba Yaga just invited the Wishbones because they are the only family she has. The ceremony starts and the couple says their vows, but suddenly an uninvited guest enters the church. It's Mila. She comes with a flying jet that abducts Baba Yaga. Max rushes to stop her, but he slips and accidentally kisses Mila. This incident makes him fall in love with Mila, but Max keeps himself contained and tries to save Baba Yaga. Mila traps the witch and his husband and takes them away, but Max hangs onto her legs. After flying all around the town, Max eventually falls down in the middle of the road while Mila escapes after mocking his incompetence. Max returns to his family and confesses that he wants to be a monster again. When he was a werewolf, everything was easier as he was powerful and scary. Max immediately takes the amulet and tries doing the monster spell by himself. His family tries to stop him, but in this attempt, they all become the victim of the spell and turn into monsters once again. Now all need to be happy to become normal again. Meanwhile, Mila has returned home. It is a high-tech lab in which her parents invent several advanced vehicles and daily life equipment. They claim to be the best scientists in the world who are dedicating their lives for the welfare of mankind. Mila respects her family's priorities, but she also wishes to spend some time with her parents, but they always send her to complete several tasks to make them proud. Mila never says no. She just brought the witch, but now her parents want her to bring Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, and also the Yeti to prove that she is an obedient daughter. Mila agrees immediately, but she wonders how she's going to fit those giant monsters in her jet. Her parents have solved that problem as well. They have invented a shrinking gun. Mila tests the gun on Renfield and heads to complete her mission. The Wishbone are still trying to track down Baba Yaga. Max uses the amulet as it shows you the one you are thinking about. The amulet gives Mila's location as she is the one who is stuck on Max's mind. Max tries using the transporting spell to reach Mila, but fails miserably. Frank reminds them of the jet they had stolen from Dracula's mansion. Emma kept it saved as she believed it may come in handy someday. Suddenly, Emma starts to lose her senses. Being a vampire, she yearns for human blood. The Wishbones reach the farm and get inside the jet. Max finds some vampire pills that help Emma get over her thirst for blood. An AI assistant appears that looks exactly like Dracula. It helps Max navigate through the controls, and he succeeds in turning on the jet and traveling to Loch Ness. Mila is not worried to see them as she believes in her capabilities. She easily knocks down Emma and Frank. Faye tries to hypnotize her using her mummy powers, but Mila reflects the magic, and Faye accidentally hypnotizes herself. After dealing with them, Mila dives into the sea to find Nessie. Max follows her too and tries to save the monster, but Mila uses her shrinking gun and traps the monster in a glass shell. After getting out, Max asks her why she is doing that. Nessie looks harmless and wants to live in peace. Just because she is different doesn't mean others can tease her and take her pictures to upload on the internet without her consent. Max can understand Nessie because he experienced the same treatment. Mila understands his concern, but she believes that her parents must have a reason for all this. Max still advises her to question her parents as Mila deserves to know the outcome of her actions. After she leaves, Max gets back to his family and tells them to keep following Mila. She might look like a villain, but she is just a kind girl who makes bad decisions. The Wishbones reach the Himalayan mountains and find huge footprints. It belongs to the Yeti. At first, the Yeti looks scary, but he is just a lonely guy looking for a friend. He assumes Frank is his family because of his size and starts playing with him. Mila ruins the whole moment and captures the Yeti. Faye proceeds to stop her and uses her whirlwind power. It gets too violent and creates a snowstorm. Max stops his sister immediately and rushes to help Mila. She is hanging down a cliff and asks Max to bring the rope from her bag. The whole family gathers to save Mila, but she still doesn't let the Yeti go. Seeing her persistence, Max reminds her again to question her parents. Mila agrees, and the first thing she does on reaching home is to ask her parents about the monsters. At first they feel reluctant, but Maddox has realized that Mila is doubting them. She must be satisfied, so he takes her to the highest floor. All the monsters are kept there. The thing they have in common is their long ages. The Starrs aim to create immorality for humans with the help of the monsters. No more diseases or deaths. Maddox assures that none of the monsters will be harmed, so Mila should focus on her mission. Meanwhile, Max and his family are still determined to stop Mila and save Baba Yaga. They reach the jungles where the giant ape lives. Mila is really shocked to see that the Wishbones are still following her. Max tries to convince her again to let the monsters go, but Mila assures him that her parents will never do something wrong. They just want to make this world a better place. When she doesn't cooperate, Max decides to use force. The Wishbones step forward and surround Mila, but another monster suddenly joins them. It's the giant ape. Mila wants to use the shrinking gun, but Max takes it away. The ape grabs Faye, but she communicates with him really well and figures out his interest in music. The bats play the music and everyone joins the ape in dance. Emma admires Faye and helps her realize that she is good at communicating with animals. Faye decides to become a zoologist, so she is not dropping out of school anymore. Seeing the Wishbones, Mila wonders if every family has that much love and fun because her parents never let her enjoy such things. She is forced to learn as much as possible and do difficult tasks, but still doubts if her parents are proud of her or not. Max tells her that his family is totally opposite. They never expect too much from him and support him even if he messes up sometimes. Mila thanks Max for his company because today is the best day she ever had. Meanwhile, her parents are still waiting for her. They use the jet cameras to spy on her and get enraged to see Mila diverting from her mission. Maddox has a new plan. He calls Mila and tells her that Marlene is really sick and she is about to die. The only way to save her is by completing the immorality experiment. Mila gets worried and immediately gets back home along with the giant ape. She puts the ape in his position and asks her dad to start the experiment as soon as possible so her mother can be saved. The machine is turned on and all the monster's powers are extracted to the cabin in the center. Mila thinks her mother is inside the cabin, but she walks from the back and seems completely alright. The person inside the cabin is Mila's clone. Maddox and Marlene wanted to become immortal, but they had realized years ago that immorality can't be put into humans, so they decided to create immortal offspring. Mila is not their real daughter. She was adopted from an orphanage for their experiment. But now they have created a mortal clone of her and doesn't need Mila anymore. They order the clone to get rid of Mila. She runs and rides the elevator. Meanwhile, Max feels betrayed by Mila and decides to never trust her again. He teleportation magic once again, and this time it works, and they reach the elevator. Max gets angry at Mila, but his mood changes when he hears her story. The clone reaches there to attack them. She snatches Mila's jet bag and throws her down. Max follows her and uses the transportation spell to save Mila. After several failed attempts, Mila helps Max to focus on the good memories he made with his family. It helps, and they succeed in teleporting back inside the elevator. Max hugs his family and the spell starts to lift off, but it stops in between. They will remain monsters because Max is still unhappy. He is worried for Mila. Suddenly, the clone reaches there and captures them all. She takes them to the Starrs, who admire the clone for bringing more monsters. Max notices on the security footage that his bats have the shrinking gun, so he keeps distracting the Starrs with his silly dance till the bats reach there. Max uses the shrinking gun on the Starrs and the clone. Afterwards, he unlocks the monsters and helps them escape. The Starrs run away in the jet, but the clone is left behind. The lab is getting destroyed, so Mila rushes to help the clone and Max joins her too. Unfortunately, the clone betrays them and blindfolds Mila to defeat her. Max helps Mila to fly through the right path. She's not good with directions, but this time she does really well. It is because Mila has started to trust herself. They all get back home and join the incomplete wedding. The couple says their vows and get bonded for a happily ever after. The Wishbones have found their happiness too. Faye has chosen a career and Max finally got someone who loves him with all his flaws. Nobody's perfect. And the sooner we realize that, the happier we'll all be. We're all okay just the way we are. That's what makes life interesting, and our little flaws make us humans.